Thank you so much for joining me here again today at Re-Ritten Vintage Homestead. And it's Side Dish Sunday on a beautiful October autumn day. And I hope you all are enjoying it as much as I am. And boy, do I have a good one for you today. Pennsylvania Dutch corn pie. And it would be even better if I had the correct ingredients, which I don't. But it'll still taste good, and we're going to improvise. Now, the Pennsylvania Dutch, when you say Dutch, you think of the Netherlands, right? Like they must have been in wooden shoes when they came over here. But actually, Dutch meant German-speaking people. So if they were over in Europe and they spoke German, the same language, they're considered the Dutch people who came to Pennsylvania and settled there. Now, the majority of Pennsylvania Dutch people would be considered Amish. But just because you're Amish doesn't mean you're Pennsylvania Dutch. And I hope that made sense. But they do have many of the same traditions, ways of thinking, ways of life, and the majority of them speak German. So this is a really what do you call those? Like in the wintertime, it's a cozy meal, a cozy side dish that you're going to want to keep. You're going to want to write down and keep it in your list of favorites. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to hard boil some eggs. You're going to need 3, and they don't have to be cool. Go ahead and get them done. And don't forget to save your eggshells. Now, I know the garden is kaput this time of year, and you're thinking, well, what am I going to use those for? Keep them, grind them up, crush them up, dry them out good, put them in a ball canning jar, and save them for next year. And you're going to be feeding your garden all summer long, and you'll really see the results. So after you have boiled your hard-boiled eggs, let me bring you down. You need 1 potato, and we're just going to dice this up. I was thinking today now, my married last name is German, and my father-in-law has traced the family history of that German name clear back to Pennsylvania. But I don't know a whole lot about German customs. I was thinking today, the only German words that I know are Guten Morgen, which is good morning, and Guten Tag, which is good evening. And when my daughter was at school, she was in a school play, and she was so excited that they were singing a German song, and it was Ach du lieber Alversten, 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 Ach du lieber Alversten. If you guys know that one, join in. And it was so cute hearing the kids sing that. So I diced up my potato here. I'm just going to put it in a pot of water. We're going to want to parboil these just until they start getting soft. So while I'm waiting on my potatoes to boil, I'm going to tell you guys a very sad story. As much as I cook and as much as I love desserts, I never, ever could master a pie crust. I know, it's so sad. And let me tell you why. It's because of my mother-in-law. Now, my mother-in-law loved me dearly, but I was not her favorite. She taught my daughter how to make pie crust, but not me. I asked her, and I watched her do it, but instead of using measuring cups, she would say, well, you just take this much lard and this much flour, and then you just mix it until, I don't know, feels like this. And there was no way. I tried to duplicate it, and it was awful. So whenever you guys see Re-Ritten Vintage Homestead making something that resembles a pie, she's using these, $1.29. And it makes life so much easier. I use them for everything. Every pie, chicken pot pie, shepherd's pies. I always use store-bought pie crust, and it's cheap. So don't feel guilty if you're like me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to roll out one of these pie crusts in a pie pan, and then we'll come back to the next step. I rolled out my pie crust, then I took a fork and I went all the way around the sides and the bottom, and this helps to keep your pie crust from shrinking while it's in the oven. And so my potatoes are now partially boiled, nice and soft, but not completely. And so I'm going to take those, and to those I'm going to add 2 cans of whole kernel corn. Now, at the beginning I told you it would taste even better if I had the right ingredients. Actually, if you take 1 can of the golden sweet whole kernel corn and you add that to 1 can of creamed corn, it'll probably be even more delicious. But I didn't have any creamed corn, so I wasn't going to let that stop me. So I'm going to mix the potatoes with the corn. And then I need to cut up those hard-boiled eggs. So we're going to cut up 3 of them. Just dice them up. You know, I was thinking the other day, we eat a lot of eggs. Do you guys? And next year I'm getting chickens, so I'm so excited. But yeah, we do. My husband and I, we eat a lot of eggs. Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but we like them. And I boiled some extra. I'm going to put those in the fridge so we can have those for snacks. Okay, so now I have that done. So I'm going to add the eggs to my corn and my potatoes. And then to that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of milk. You know, my phone's dinging and dinging and dinging because my granddaughter is off to a band competition and everybody's wishing her well. They got the Governor's Grand Champion Award last week. So they're doing really, really well. Now to this, you want to add salt and pepper to taste. And if you wanted to add salt to your potatoes while they were cooking, that's fine too. Yep, everybody's saying good luck. Get a trophy, bring her home. Okay, now I'm going to put this on the stove and I'm just going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes. I've lined a cookie sheet with tin foil because I worked so hard this summer cleaning out my oven that I don't want anything to boil over and make a mess. So you can do that if you'd like. Then I've got my pie crust right here. And I can't remember if I told you guys or not to drain your corn before you put it in your pot. The only liquid you want is from your milk. Ooh. It really wouldn't hurt to put this in a deep dish because it makes a lot. But this will be fine too. Now I'm going to take a tablespoon of butter and put that all around the top here. Yum, yum. And then the rest of my pie crust goes on top. And we're just going to flute that around. That's another thing I'm not an expert on, you guys. My mother-in-law used to go around and have the prettiest lacy looking outside pie crust. And yeah, I'm just all thumbs when it comes to that. But we'll still make it look pretty. So what you're doing is you're rolling this over the top crust and pinching it together with the bottom crust so that they stay together. And it never fails. Sometimes I have more top crust than bottom crust and more bottom crust than top crust. And it comes out uneven, but it still tastes good. So now that I have this like this, I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to make some little V's all the way around. So I get a pretty looking outside. See, that dresses it up a little bit. All the way around. You guys don't ever hesitate to buy something that's not the real thing if it helps you out and if it's less expensive. No one will be able to tell the difference. Now see, that turned out perfectly fine. Now I'm going to take my fork and I'm just going to give it a little area here for the steam to come out. I preheated my oven to 425. And if you have one of these silicone rims that go around your pie, use it. If you don't, then use tin foil. If you don't have that, then just keep a really good eye on it to keep your crust from burning. So my oven is preheated at 425. I'm going to bake it in there for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to reduce the heat to 350 and I'm going to cook it in there until it's nice and brown, about 10 minutes more. We're going to have meatloaf with this tonight. So I'll show you everything when it's all done. I wish we had smell-o-vision so you all could smell how delicious this is. And here it is right out of the oven. The last 5 minutes or so, I took my silicone border off of the edge of the pie so that the edges would brown as well. But it's just beautiful and bubbling and hot, and I can't wait to eat it with my meatloaf. And we'll do a taste test when dinner's ready. So I've cut into this and my meatloaf's done. Let's give it a try. Oh, it's nice and thick. Look at that. Looks like a pot pie. So let's give it a go. This looks good. You can see the egg bits in there and the potatoes and the flaky crust. My husband's looking at me because he's waiting for his plate. This is so good. It was fast, it's inexpensive, goes with any kind of meat that you make, and it is really good. I think I'll take another bite. So you guys, give this Pennsylvania Dutch corn casserole a try. Let me know what you think. I think you're going to love it. And I made some oatmeal cookies from Das Essinghaus cookbook. And boy, they're good too. So we're going to be eating like kings tonight. I hope you guys have a great week and you'll come back and see me for our next Side Dish Sunday.